Bitcoin shorts get squeezed to a new all-time high. Is this the next leg up, or is it a trap developing? Hey guys, it's Keith Allen. Hope you had a good, profitable weekend. Hope you spent some time actually away from screens. But man, we did get some price action that made things interesting. So we're going to climb into that and a whole lot more. And I'm going to be completely honest with you. I didn't see that move coming. I posted a chart in our community on over the weekend. We had a lot of liquidity stacked right around the 125K mark. I thought that was going to serve as a guardrail over the weekend. And, well, whales decided to eat through it and push through. And now we see ourselves with another push up, perhaps moving into price discovery mode. That's the question here. Are we going to see this develop into a sustainable next leg up, or is it going to be a fake out situation? We're going to climb into that. We're going to look at liquidity in the order books. We're going to look at new Timescape level. We're going to look at some indicators, some that are valid, some that have been invalidated, and try and gain some clarity here. We do have one key metric, a brand new level that appeared today, and we are going to identify that, and I'm going to underscore the importance of that level and what it's going to mean for you. So glad to have you with me. If you're new to the stream, my name is Keith Allen. I am a full-time trader. I'm a work-from-home dad. I am also co-founder of Material Indicators. So we'll look at some of those tools as well. I would appreciate it if each and every one of you, new or old, would do me a favor and smash some of those buttons. Help me grow this channel. Hit that like, hit the share, invite some of your friends into the stream, or maybe your fellow community members. And if you haven't done so yet, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of the content and the alpha I drop here on the regular. Okay, take care of that. One last bit of housekeeping. Live chat is open. These are always better when you guys engage, when you chime in. If you have questions, I'll do my best to answer them. If you have insights, by all means, please share them. And if we have time, we've done a couple sessions here where I've let you guys request charts, and I've pulled those up and given you a live analysis along the way. So maybe we'll do a couple of those if we have time as well. Let's get into it. Let's start with sharing the chart and see what has transpired here. We have obviously reached a new all-time high here this weekend, and so price is now moving up from there, and we're going to see if we can actually get into even more all-time highs here in the coming days. So let's start by sharing the candle chart. I guess we have to make this adjustment on where the all-time high sits because we have a new one, right? So let's zoom in and see where we were and where we are now. So the all-time high was at 124,517, and now we have moved to 125,725. So let's make this move. 125, 725, and price trying to push up from there. So you'll notice here I'm on the quarterly chart, and if you remember at the beginning of the month, at the beginning of the quarter, if you will, we had a new trend precognition short signal similar to this one. Actually, it was a very strong one. It started out at 50% strength, 50% probability, I should say, that there would not be a new all-time high this quarter. And that obviously has been invalidated. I expressed at the beginning that there was a chance that would happen, especially in all of the October euphoria. Still not a narrative I subscribe to. I subscribe to the charts, and I suggest that you do the same. Either way, we saw that signal degrading over the past several days. It went from a 50 to a 42% probability of a few days in, and that was already an indication to me that it might get invalidated as price was moving up. And then over the weekend, it went to like a 38 and then invalidated. So it could potentially reappear if we see price revert. But for my purposes, I consider that an invalidated signal. And even if it does reappear, I don't care. So what next, right? So that was relative to a Q3 Timescape level, a Q4 Timescape level here. You see it on the quarterly open at which of course coincides with the monthly 10-1. Where we opened above 114K. And now we have a brand new level. This is the first weekly open of the quarter, and this is the last Timescape level we're going to see printed on the chart between now and the end of the year. And so what we need to see happen, and I will tell you that historically, we will see retests between these levels. So if we have a situation similar to the one we have now, where the quarterly open was lower than the first weekly open, historically we have always seen a retest of support at some point in time. Doesn't have to happen today, doesn't have to happen tomorrow, doesn't even have to happen this week. But we have seen a support test back to that quarterly level before things really grind upward sustainably. And likewise, when it's the opposite situation where the quarterly open is higher and then price degrades and goes down to the and then we get a first weekly open of that quarter at a lower level, price frequently bounces from that and moves up. So at the moment, we're above everything. And so this could be the one that's different. Sure, it could. And in all fairness, I mean, there's not a heap of history on this. I mean, dating back to the beginning, we're only talking about 15 years, like 15 years, not even. So you never know when the one that's going to change, the one that's going to be different, is that going to be this time? Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. But in the meantime, here's what we watch. We watch this new Timescape level. We watch how price is reacting. And if we and the beauty of this indicator, well, there's a lot of beautiful things about this indicator, but something that I really love. Number one, this does not invalidate. Right. This is a level that appears with a lot of indicators on TradingView. You have to wait until the candle closed for that indicator to be validated or invalidated, and a lot of the move could play out by then. With Timescapes, the level is marked exactly at the open of that time frame. So this level doesn't move. It's not changing. It is printed now until the end of time. So that's the first thing. It's here now and it's valid. The second thing is we can tell if for this trend to stay, for us to see an extension of this trend, price needs to stay above this Timescape level. Simple as that. And it works. And this is the other thing I love. It works across time frames. Every single time frame. It doesn't change, right? The quarterly open, which is the same as the monthly open, or in this case, the first weekly open of the quarter here, which happened on this current candle, which is the same on this candle, and the same on this candle if we go to the weekly time frame. You can see it's right here at where price opened. And where did price open? Price opened at 123,519. And where was the prior all-time high? Let's just, so price opened not quite in all-time high territory. So that's worth noting, by the way. On the weekly, I should say. But again, this Timescape level remains in place, again, on every time frame. Every place you look, it's still there at the same exact level, right? We could even go to 15-minute charts. It's still exactly where it was right here. Oop. We have to zoom in. Oh, I'm not even showing it on these, perhaps. We just got to go further out because we zoomed all the way in, right? So it's still there. Any time frame, it's there for you. So that's the first thing. The second thing is what is happening in the order book, right? How did we get to this? How did we get to this level? How did we get through 125K without much bid liquidity? And you can see it here, right? This is essentially no man's land. I mean, we're essentially hovering on air at this point. We're hovering on market buy orders is what we're hovering on. but there's no bid liquidity holding this up, which is often what you typically want to see bid liquidity move into place and move higher as price is going higher to essentially hold things up. And that's not happening at this point. So as I zoom out to higher time frames, you can see more clearly the concentration of ask liquidity. We have roughly 70 million here between here and going to a new all-time high. And we have relatively thin bid side liquidity laddered all the way down to, gosh, I mean, the 110K level. Now, in terms of where we could see a support test, I personally am expecting, and it doesn't matter what I want, right? It's what structurally should happen to give this move some strength. And again, we can't get married to what we want. We can't get married to ideas that we have or gut feelings. We must trade the charts or we risk losing out on big moves. So in this situation, here's our Timescape level at about 123.5K, 123.5. And our last level was at 114. This has yet to be tested, right? This is just a series of green celery sticks. So inevitably, in most cases, not every case, doesn't happen every single time. Very few things are 100% in the world of trading. Very few things, if any, are 100% in the world of trading. And if you go through history, you're going to see big moves. Hey, it might take time for them to, for a support test to develop, but something develops at some point in time. And so will it take days, weeks, or months for that support test to develop? And what happens along the way? So if price just keeps going up and up and up without any support test, to me, that is a recipe for an even nastier correction. If we see some consolidation, maybe we hop above this all-time high, we consolidate, and we come back and support test one of these levels, right? I personally think that a support test down to this range, at the very least, back to the trend line, right? Now, as time goes on, the trend line will be, by later in the month, the trend line will be right at where this Timescape level is. So by October 20th, the trend line correlates with the Timescape level. So that might be interesting. But this is the one I would like to see. I'd like to see a test down to at least the 21 day moving average. You can see the red 50 has perfect confluence with that quarterly open and that quarterly Timescape level. So this is an even stronger support level, in my opinion. So we've already tested those Q3 Timescape levels. We see here down on the July 1st and here on the July 7th Timescape. Those have been tested, and this is a beautiful move. So I essentially want to see something similar. I want to see the same kind of scenario where we get a support test somewhere back down here. So do I think that going back down to this 109 or 107 level is likely? I don't think that's a high probability at the moment, unless we just get a straight rip without a correction for a little while. And then I think we're going to see a nastier correction. So that's what I'm watching. And the level to watch in terms of whether we get a bigger breakdown is right here at this Timescape 10.6. That's today's weekly open. If price breaks down below this level, or even we see wicks below this level, expect a deeper correction, at least down here. And this isn't huge, right? This isn't anything out of the ordinary. If we were to get that correction just down to the quarterly open, that's not even a 10% move, and that's a regular occurrence. That would be very healthy, in my opinion, to see that happen. If it went down to the Q3 open, 13%. Still, no concerns whatsoever. Where I would get concerned is if we lose this 200-day moving average, and then we find ourselves in the territory of the yearly open, and losing the yearly open is the end of the line, in my opinion, my friends. At least for the cycle. So again, I've said a number of times here over the past month or so that I don't think that I didn't think that 123.5K or 124.5K rather was the all-time high for Bitcoin. We now have a new all-time high, but I don't think this little incremental all-time high is really the final move for the cycle. I think it's going to be a bigger move. And where do I think it could go from here? Good question. Let's take a look at a chart we've been watching for a long time, and that is where we first identified this target. Okay, when this cup and handle pattern formed, we had a target on a measured move right into this range that we're at right now. To be honest, to be fair, I called it right at 122.5K, and see it right here, 122.5K, and figured we'd have a range to 125. Between 122 and 125K is where I thought we would see a top based on this measured move. But this move was called back in March of 2024. So a lot has happened between now and then. And most specifically, around the Trump administration and a crypto-friendly SEC, a crypto-friendly administration, and all of the things that are going along with that. So that's why I have an inkling that we're going to see a higher target. So where would they go from here? If we're looking at just straight technicals, the fib extensions, because we're quite frankly headed to price discovery from here, right? So the fib extensions, next one takes us up to about 155K. There is some merit to the idea of 130K level. But I think that long term, if you're in this game for the long haul, if you're investing in Bitcoin for the long haul, then obviously the potential is much higher. And so you need to determine if you're holding any coin that you recently bought, or if you're going to take profits along the way. If you are taking profits along the way, these fib extensions are natural places to do that. Whether you're taking profit there or not, a lot of algos will. So I expect to see some pullbacks from each of these levels if and when they're eventually hit. Let's take a quick look at ETH. Obviously, a high tide raises all boats, and we see ETH moving not to a new all-time high, mind you, but we do see ETH having a good recovery from its local low. What is interesting here is we have a little gap here in the chart that could potentially get wicked, and that would take things back down to the 4,000 range potentially. But we have the same thing here. We have a Timescape level to watch. So watching to see if this level holds at 45-ish. And if it doesn't, then here's my next target for a support test. And if we make it down this low, my guess is that we close this gap and then leg back up. Let's see what we have on Litecoin, since I'm just flipping through the charts. Litecoin, same Timescape level here at just below $119. And we have some consolidation happening here, which is interesting. Look at this, like classic doji candle, doji dragon. These are not signs of strength for Litecoin. Another one that had some big candles, right? 8% candle, another 4% candle. So the last real support test for Litecoin was down at the quarterly open, down here at the 105, 106 range. And so this has been tested. Now I'd like to see a test down to this 115 range. That's pretty much what I'm looking at. One more. Solana, the ever popular SOL. Hopefully you're not SOL on Solana. Solana has been having a really nice run here, consolidating here around that 227 range where we opened yesterday. Where we opened today. And this is the level to watch, right? This is our last Timescape level, and we can see we have a bit of upward momentum on the daily time frame here for Solana. On the weekly, we have a golden cross occurring between the green 21 and the 50, and we have a green trend precognition signal. This looks good in the near term for Solana. So that's something to watch. Looks like we have a comment in the midst. Let's see. But if price breaks below 118K, isn't that a structural failure contrary to Timescape? So we're speaking of Bitcoin. If price breaks below, yes, it would be a structural failure. No question. But I don't know about one. Let's see, one. So that we're actually up from 118 now. That structure on my chart, and this is a little bit, and this is something interesting, right? So all of us draw our lines a little bit differently. So it's a little bit subjective. Timescapes are not subjective. Timescapes are the same, right? The only difference might be slight price variations based on exchange, but other than that. The open is what the open is. And so there's no debating whether it was at 123 or 122.8. It is where it is. And in this case, on this particular exchange, the open was at 123.519, and that is set in stone. So the timescapes work very well in that regard. The other thing to note, H plus, is that we see so many overshoots, so many technical overshoots, and I think that may have something to do with the fact that we have so many algos trading that somebody likes to trick the algos. And when these technical levels get overshot, whether it's moving averages, whether it's a trend line, whether it's an itchy cloud, that triggers action to the downside. That triggers stop losses and sell orders. So I think it's conceivable that we could see that wick come below the trend line to do the support test. And if that happens, it's not like I've learned over the years not to just react to that wick, because the wicks happen fast. It's what happens at the close, okay? Because we could see a wick all the way down to here, and then price could close back up above here. So keep that in mind. Don't be too hasty on that button, and wait for things to develop and candles to close. Now, that's obviously not a scalping strategy. That's a longer term swing trade or investment strategy. If you're scalping, hit your targets, take the money and run. Let's see. What is it? STRK. Let's take a look. STRK. Well, STRK is one that is trading off of, moving upward from its most recent Timescape levels. But here's what's interesting. Okay, so this is a young coin, doesn't have a lot of history, right? And the history that it has had is not so good. If this wasn't the first candle, the genesis, if you will, then I might look at this and say, hey, is that possibly a bull flag? I don't know about that, right? I wouldn't qualify this. But I look at this and I see some nice consolidation down here around the both the Q2 and Q3 Timescape levels. And again, where you have tight packs of or overlaps of these timescape levels, that to me builds strength in those levels. And where you have confluence with other indicators, that also builds strength in those levels. So this is important. The consolidation is good here. And trying to springboard off of that and now up from this 10-6 timescape. Where was the 10-1 timescape? Let's take a peek. 10-1. Okay, so we have some consolidation. It was a springboard off of the 10-1. There's not been a support test of the 10-1. By 10-1, I mean that Q4 open, October 1st. This has not been tested, but we have had a few tests of this level. And now we have a brand new timescape level. This week's weekly open, 10-6-2025, which it's not every weekly open that we're looking at. It's the first week of each quarter that we're looking at. And so this one has some confluence with a prior timescape level from back in April. So that adds some strength to this support level. And maybe that means that we don't have to go test all the way back down here. However, here's the caveat. Here's what concerns me about this particular coin. We are well below the yearly open, well below these levels. So for this to really have head to price discovery, we need to see it reclaim that level. Now, the good news is lots of upside potential between here and there. So this could be a developing solid trade here. Let's see. Let's go for see what this looks like. Okay. So just to get back to the yearly open is a massive move. That's a 164% move. And conversely, what you would risk to take that trade, I mean, all of this is debatable, whether this is going to hold or not, right? This looks pretty strong here, though. This would be the fail-safe, right? Obviously, even if you went all the way down, that's up, like you probably don't want to risk that much. But the upside potential is very strong. So I would be, watching to see what the order book looks like for Stark, and we can take a quick look at that, see if there's anything noteworthy in this chart. STRK. Very, very thin, right? This is a very thin order book. As you can see, the highest concentration of liquidity in this chart, $1.3 million. Let's add some contrast here so we can see some more. And you can see now running into some resistance here. Now, what's good? What's good is that you have some buying here. What's bad is you also have some selling from whales, not big selling, right? You're not going to see brown whales swimming in this pond because, quite frankly, they can't make an order. They can't make a multi-million-dollar order without major slippage. So purple is going to be the dominant order class here for sure. And they just did a little bit of profit taking because why? Because you're going to new highs, new local highs, I should say. So this is one that you got to be very careful with your position sizes, because if you're trading too large in here, you're going to have slippage, and that's going to be a problem. And this is one that has tremendous upside potential, but I would caution you that the old alt season index is not been looking very solid here lately, and dreams of the alt season that many have been envisioning, those could easily be dashed. I really do not see alt season developing in the way that we had seen it historically. We do, however, at the moment have a situation where alts are doing well. Bitcoin dominance, believe it or not, while it's been trending up, ticking down. We're on a 4-hour time frame. Let's open that up a little bit. Trending upwards, as you can see, ticking downward at the moment because we're seeing an uptick in ETH and an uptick in total 3. High tide raises all boats. Everybody's trying to catch up. This is why we're not seeing a runaway from Bitcoin right now, because there is some money flowing into alts and there is some money flowing into ETH, money pouring out of stable coins. This is a trader's market, my friends. Find your opportunities. And this one might be a good one. This STRK, lots of upside potential, but manage your risk to the downside and keep your position sizes within range that this asset can deal with. It looks like you're likely going to get another trend precognition signal here in the next 24 hours, unless there's a reversion. So I am up. Pick your targets, place your bets, and push your chips across the table if you're so inclined, right? Hey, if there's nothing else, I'm going to wrap it there. I got lots going on today, and I need to make some trades of my own and get some work done for you fine people. If you like the stream and you like the content and you want more of it, by all means, please hit those buttons if you haven't done so yet. Hit that like, hit that share, hit that subscribe, and drop a comment. If you were not able to join me live and you drop a comment on YouTube or on X, I will most certainly engage with those later in the day. Thanks again for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you. If you're interested in learning more about these tools or engaging with us in our Telegram community, you'll find links in the description. You'll also find links on the top of the Material Indicators homepage and links on the Material Indicators X channel as well. Hope this helps you all trade smarter.